Charlie.
Carlos.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, good. Where you at? You're in your office or you at home?
No, I'm in my office.
Okay, good.
Don't tell anybody though. Yeah.
I won't tell anybody that you're working.
We're officially supposed to be at work from home until end of May.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's official, huh?
Uh,
That's official? The word that,
yeah, that's the official. Yeah, that's the
okay.
yeah. But I did it for a month. I gotta come to the office and work.
My friends and family I talk to, neighbors, they always come around and ask me, how you guys doing, right? And I tell them, I'm doing fine. It's my wife that, like, in cycles, she's going crazy every 3 days. She's like, I need to get out of this house. She's the one that has to stay home. I have the luxury of, getting out of the house and coming to the office and working.
Sure.
And imagine staying inside all day. I'd go crazy, man.
It's I've never done it. No, this is the longest I've gone without being on the road to go someplace traveling.
Yeah.
In 20 years. And so, it's
That's
like
wild.
it's wild.
What's going on? What's going on with all the frequent flyer points? They're not accumulating anymore, huh?
No, but they did because of this. They've extended whatever status you were this year, they're extending it through 2021. So
I see.
Which is good.
I've never been given a status, so I don't know what that means, but maybe one day.
Well, actually, Carlos, feel fortunate because
yeah. Okay, good. I feel fortunate.
His status is not all as cracked up to be. It's to get there, you have to be gone a lot from home. So
yeah, you're right. You're right. I was just, you may or may not be watching the Last Dance, the thing about Michael Jordan on ESPN.
I haven't yet. No.
Okay, well, on one of the episodes, he's like, like, I just want to stay home. Like, when I walk out of this room, like, I just get bombarded,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking about that, it's like, yeah, maybe we are lucky not being so famous, because you can't do anything. The moment you step out, it's over. You're bombarded.
Over. My family and I were at a little restaurant in Grapevine, Texas called La Casa, and we were sitting there Sunday for lunch, and these people come and sat behind me, and I heard the guy speak, and I kind of turned and looked like this, and it was Troy Aikman.
Oh, really? Was it?
And I leaned, I told my wife, I said, that's Troy Aikman back there. She said, are you going to ask for his autograph? I said, no, it's Sunday. It's off season, and he's having a meal with somebody. And I swear at least 6 people come and sat down on the bench next to me and started talking to him and got his autograph. It's like, leave the dude alone. He probably just wants to have a meal, a Mexican meal here, eat his food and be left alone. But they were just constant bouncing in there.
I'd hope to be in that predicament one day where I have to make a choice. Am I going to say hi and want to get an autograph or not? I always think in my head, like, I'm just gonna leave the famous person alone. Like, but I'd love to have an autograph. Or I'd love to have a picture with somebody. Sure. It'd be kind of cool. No one would believe me if I,
Well, now I'll tell you, Carlos. Back in the day, if I would have sat there and Farrah Fawcett would have been sitting there. Yeah, that'd have been a whole different story, buddy.
Charlie, I gotta ask though, did he finish his meal before he came over and asked for your autograph?
See?
He didn't. He come and sat beside me and said, hey, can I have your autograph? And I'm like, oh, geez.
To another one, right?
I know that's a hard thing in our industry. I'm sure you get that a lot.
That's exactly right.
When I was younger, I was a big Dallas Cowboys fan. And Emmitt Smith was my hero. I used to want to be like Emmitt Smith, like playing football with my friends. I'm like, I'd have the number 22 jersey. I'd have the Cowboys started. I was like, that was my thing. If I see Emmitt Smith, there's no way I'm not going up to him and saying, here, dude, come on. Let me just get one autograph or picture or something. I have to. If it's Emmitt Smith, I have to.
There you go. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
I hope he's not a jerk about it. I don't think he's a jerk about it.
I don't think he is. I think it's pretty cool. Most of those guys are. I mean, there's some that are jerks, but yeah, most of them are. So.
When those 6 people came up to Troy Aikman, like, what was his face like? Like, was it like,
He was very nice and very cordial, but you could see in his eyes, it was like, just some peace, just some peace.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't imagine. Yeah. I'd love to be famous, but then again, probably not, right? You can't make a mistake.
You can't.
You can't make one mistake. Not even,
Especially in today's world with all the video and the cameras. You know, back when a long time ago, you could make a mistake and possibly not get caught because you wouldn't. But
right.
today, you can't. Even if you do something in the privacy of your own home with 3 or 4 people you think are your best friends, trust me, it's going to get out because one of those friends is going to get mad and just blast.
Even if you did it 20 years ago, like somebody's trying to find the dirt, right? Somebody's going to try to dig it up and find the dirt.
If you're 100% yourself, you don't have anything to worry about.
I'd be messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a few people, they were 100% of themselves. They'd have a lot to worry about, Dan.
Yeah. I was 100% of myself 25 years ago, and it's probably not a good thing.
You and I have known some people who, if they were 100% themselves, they would be in trouble.
We celebrate those people. We look forward to it.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yes.
So I say we get started here. It's about 3 after the hour. Anybody that's on here, if you guys want to ask Charlie a question, just put it in the chat, or if you want to talk, I have this allow to talk button here on the right hand side. So if you guys want to ask him a question, feel free. Charlie is an open book, I would say. He doesn't hold back, and he doesn't beat around the bush. So ask away.
I will say Charlie's seen it all. Charlie has been a part of this industry. The reason why we have what we have in the industry today is because of people like Charlie. He has been a contributing factor to what we have right now and why everyone makes as much money as they do. So anybody that's on here and anybody that ever listens to this, you can nod. Every time you see Charlie, you nod to that because he's he's been a pioneer. He was a pioneer here for us, for sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys having me, Carlos. Thanks so much for letting me do this. This is a little bit difficult because I'm used to being face-to-face and interacting with people. So if I kind of stutter a little bit, let me know. But before we get started, because he's on here and I can see him, I'm going to tell you a quick story about Dan Mack. Okay.
Okay.
Because, Dan Mack talks about how, people know everybody. And I know for a fact that Dan Mack knows everybody, right? Everybody knows Dan Mack. And I got to arguing with this guy the other day about it. And he goes, no, Dan Mack doesn't know everybody. Everybody doesn't know Dan Mack. I said, they do. Everybody knows Dan Mack. You can take Dan Mack anywhere and somebody will know him. And he says, no, it's not true. And I said, sure, let me show you. So we went and grabbed Dan and I took him down to the where Michael Jordan was at, and I walked him up where Michael Jordan was at, and Michael Jordan says, Dan, I've been missing you, man. Where have you been? The guy says, oh, well, that's just like, Dan's from Chicago, Michael's from Chicago. They probably know each other, right?
There you go.
And so I said, no, here. So I took Dan and I flew him to Washington, D.C., and I walked him in the White House, and it was back when Obama was president, and President Obama said, Dan, where have you been? How's it going? How's Chicago? And the guy said, yeah, Chicago connection again, right? So it's just because he's from Chicago. And I said, okay, look, here. So I flew him down here to Texas. And we walked down to George W.'s place. And we walked into George W.'s place. And George W. Bush looks at Dan Mack and says, Dan, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I was wanting to see if you wanted to go hunting with me next week. And so the guy goes, well, that's amazing. Dan knows lots of people. He said, but he doesn't know everybody. No way. I said, okay, here, I'm going to prove it. So we all packed up and we flew to Italy and we went in the Vatican. And we walked up to the Vatican and we went to knock on the door, and one of the guards at the Vatican door said, Mr. Mack, where have you been? The Pope has been wanting to see you. He said, can you leave your group and come and visit with the Pope for a while? And Dan said, well, and I said, well, yeah, go ahead, Dan, go. So Dan went in and left. So this other guy and I are standing out in the Vatican courtyard, and the Pope comes out to do his prayers up on that big balcony up there. Well, Dan's with him, standing there. and this guy's amazing. He says, he's up there with the Pope, and this guy in front of us, this tourist goes, God nudges his wife, and I heard it as plain as day. He nudges his wife and says, well, I recognize Dan Mack, but who's that other guy with him? There you go.
That's how it is, man.
Dan knows everybody.
That's how
So
it is.
I thought I'd give you a quick personal bio to show you.
Yeah, I'd love that. That's what.
Go ahead, Carlos.
I said that's the intro question. We'd love to hear what, where the person come from, where the person has come from, and how they got to this point in the insurance industry. That's we'd love to hear.
The Matt, the legend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a legend, but I've got a story. I'm an Air Force brat. My dad was in the Air Force, and so by the time I was 13 years old, I've been been in 8 states and 1 foreign country. The foreign country was Libya, if you can believe that, and we lived there for a year. And I originally went to school and got my college degree, my bachelor's degree in pre-medical science. And so I have a pre-med major, and I looked at getting in the medical profession, and I worked in a hospital for a while. And after a few months working in the hospital, I went, man, I just wasted 4 years of my life. What have I done? Okay? Because this is definitely not for me. And so I went back to school, and I got an accounting degree. And I'm a certified public accountant, certified in the state of Oklahoma. And for the first 12, 13 years of my career, I did a number of things. I sold jewelry, I sold children's clothes, I sold vacuum cleaners. I was a controller and accountant for an oil and gas company. I had my own tax and management company for a while, and I managed experimental farms in western Oklahoma. And I did management and accounting work for a TV show that was on ESPN. And so I had this wide variety of things that I was doing in my career. Well, in 1987, all of it imploded. Oil and gas was bust. The experimental farms I was managing was bust. The company that I was doing marketing and stuff for a TV show got canceled. So it was like this all at once. It was a perfect storm. And there I was with no clients, no work, and 3 children and a wife, and what am I going to do now kind of concept. And we lived in Oklahoma City, and we've been there for 17 years, and we always said, we're never leaving Oklahoma City, ever. Don't ever say never, because
it's going to
get proven wrong. That's right. So I got an opportunity to come to Dallas to do some temporary accounting work for an insurance agency. And I was doing it a couple days a week, and I ended up 2 days a week, then 3 days a week, and then they made me a full-time offer. So we moved, my family and I moved to Dallas in October, November of 1987, and that was my entree into the insurance business as an accountant. Okay, I was an accountant with this insurance agency October, November, December, January, February, March, for 6 months. In April, they came to me and said, we have this lead operation up in St. Louis, telemarketing lead operation. We want you to go up there and run it. And I'm thinking, I don't know anything about running a lead operation. They said, we just want you to go up and manage it because we think you can get it under control. So I moved to St. Louis and ran a telemarketing operation that had went to 900 employees.
Wow.
Doing telemarketing, doing 25 to 30,000 telephone leads a week. And that was using the old touch tone phones, the little push button phones. And you'd have a list of labels with your phone number. So you dial the number, you set the lead. If you set the lead, you pull the label off and put it on a card. We'd batch those cards up and send them to the managers, and the managers would hand them out at their monthly meetings or the weekly meetings. And then we dropped 200 to 300,000 pieces of mail a week to generate mail leads.
Wow.
So we had this big operation going from a lead generation standpoint. Well, I'd been up there a year, and then I got asked to move back to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and work in the agency and work with the marketing and the operations and those type of things. And so I got a good feel for what it meant to work for an agency. I got a good feel for what it meant to work with agents and what the agents had to go through because I was in constant contact with them. That company wrote themselves out of the marketplace. They basically wrote so much business for the carrier. The carrier said, we can't take any more business because
that's awesome.
We have too much business for our surplus. So the owner decided to retire. Okay. And so there I was. And then I helped him wind his affairs down. So I went from insurance agent. Then in 1993, I got an offer to go to work for Pioneer Financial Services, which is the old Peter Nauert companies. Okay. But not in marketing. Peter wanted me to come and work in the administrative side of the business. So I went from being on the agency side, I went to work running underwriting and policy owner services and actuarial and IT and all those functions. And I did that for 5 years. Although, I'll be honest, I snuck back into marketing whenever Peter wasn't looking. And the agents are really where I feel most comfortable. In fact, I was taking calls from agents and helping them with their problems. And Mr. Nauer called me one day and said, "I understand you're talking to agents on the phone." And I went, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "Well, don't. It's not your job. You are not to talk to a single agent from this point forward." I said, "Okay." He said, "If I catch you talking to him, I'll fire you. Do you understand me?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes, sir. I understand that if you catch me talking to him, you will fire me." And he said, "That's right. Wait a minute. How did you phrase that?" I said, "Real simple. If you catch me, you will fire me." He said, "You're not going to listen to me, are you?" I said, "Well, not really, because that's how I learn things. That's how I get the information I need about what's going on." I said, "I go to my underwriting department and I'll get all kinds of information. But I got a whole lot better feel for what's going on in my underwriting department when I call the agent in the field and say, 'Hey, how's it going?' And they're going, 'Well, you're slow here.' And I go check, and guess what? We're slow there." So Peter, no, I'm never going to stop talking to the agents field, because they're in the front lines of this business, and that's what makes this work. Is they're the engine, they're the driver, and if something's broke, they're the first ones that hear it. Okay, they're the first ones that experience it. So I can get way ahead of the curve by talking to them. So he left me alone. Okay.
He wasn't going to
fire. So I went from that, because they got bought out by Conseco, and they moved everything to Rockford, Illinois, and I wasn't moving to Rockford, Illinois. So I went from Pioneer Financial Services. I went to work as the chief marketing officer for National Health Insurance Company back in 1998. And I was National Health's chief marketing officer from 98 to 2003. And then I went to the administrative side and ran the companies from 2003 to 2010. Now, I'm going to stop here because I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about the industry as a whole. When I started in 1987 with that insurance agency, right around that time, 1986, 1987, was when the Association Group Health Insurance market was really getting its feet dug in the ground and was really starting its growth cycle. Okay, so prior to that, there was some business, but this is when it really started to accelerate. And there were a number of players in the market, but there were really four primary players in the market at that time. There was Ron Jensen, which was UICI. There was Keith Wood, which was the Keith Wood Agency. There was Peter Nauer, which was Pioneer Financial Services or Pioneer Life. And then there was Paul Wood, National Health Insurance Company. And then you had other players in there like Jimmy Walker and Jim Cashin and several other players in the marketplace. But those four were the primary drivers of the marketplace. And in 1990, between the four of them, they were writing close to $20 million of annualized premium a week. And that was back when you were doing face-to-face applications and submitting paper apps. And so this market has expanded just tremendously. And then it kind of got condensed because of all the regulatory things that came into play. And you can't do the catastrophic plan anymore. It's got to be ACA. But if you look at the kind of market sales we have today, it's similar, a little bit different, but similar. So to give you a perspective that business started back in that time frame in the association group business, and it had a high growth deal, and then it kind of leveled off and it's come down, and that was primarily because of regulation, state mandates, and those type of things. So anyway, I worked for National Health from 98 to 2010. We went through a lot of things during that period of time. And in 2008, Mr. Wood sold National Health Insurance Company to an investor group out of Houston. Okay? And they wanted to get in the health insurance market, so he sold it to them. And so we went from 2008 to 2010 when ACA came into play. And we're all familiar with what happened there. Mm-hmm. And when ACA was passed, my management team came to me and said, "We've got a plan." And I thought, this is awesome. And we had they sat in a 3-month period, developed a dental, critical illness, and accident, and all these plans we saw today. They had a plan designed for each one of them. And we were getting ready to go to filing when the do the company called me up and said, I don't like health insurance business anymore. Close the company down. And I went, what do you mean close the company down? I said, non-renew all the business, cancel all the business, and lay everybody off. And so I argued, I begged, I cried, I groveled, whatever I could. I couldn't convince him to stay in the business. So that was in about June. From June to September, we spent that time sending out notices and exiting the market. We canceled all of our health policies.
Wow.
We laid off 125 employees. And so in September, it was done for me. I was over. They still had some transition stuff, but I was done. And so I basically laid myself off from this organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went to work for AHCP, America's Healthcare Plan, which was, again, one of the old Peter Nauer companies, right? And I went to work for them as the chief marketing officer. Now we're going to start tying my history to NatGen's history,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because this is where the connection started. So in 2010, I went to work for America's Healthcare Plan. In 2011, I got a call from the owners of America's Healthcare Plan, and they called me up and said, look, we've got an offer to sell our company, the holding company, but the buyers don't want AHCP, so you're going to find somebody to buy AHCP or close it down. So we went through this escalator process, and Aaron Goddard's name pops up, and Aaron and his partner buy AHCP, and we close in February of 2012. And we're sitting there, we're sitting there at a dinner, and we're getting ready to make this announcement and explain everything to our divisional presidents. When the partner, Bob, looks at Aaron and said, did you tell Charlie about the slides we need to change tomorrow? And Aaron said, no, I thought you were going to tell him about the slides we were going to change tomorrow. I'm going, and they're arguing back and forth on who was supposed to tell me. I said, stop, just tell me.
Slides.
Who was supposed to, what changes? They go, well, we don't own you anymore. I said, what do you mean you don't own us anymore? He says, well, we sold you last Friday to a company called GMAC Insurance Companies, now known as National General Insurance Company. So I'm sitting there going, what? How did this happen? So in 2012, we became a part of National General, at that time known as GMAC, but now National General. And then in March of 2012, they called me up and said, we need to buy an A&H carrier. We thought we had a deal with one, and it fell through. Do you know a carrier? And I went, you know what? National Health's on the shelf. It doesn't have anything in it. I wonder if they'd sell it. So I called the guy up, say, hey, you want to sell National Health? He goes, are you kidding me? I just gave it to a broker last night to sell. Perfect timing, man. Perfect timing. So we bought National Health Insurance Company and closed on it at the end of 2012. So now we've got HCP and VelaPoint, who are producers, but they're producing for everybody in the world. We have National Health Insurance Company starting in 2013 that has 0 policies approved and only $300,000 worth of premium. Nothing there, okay? So we started the process of getting policies designed and policies developed and policies priced and policies filed, and sometime in mid-2013, late 2013, we're ready to go to market with our first plan, an accident plan, $20 a month premium, okay? And we're in the conference room with Michael Carfunkel, who was Barry's father, founder of the company, chairman of the board, CEO. We're sitting there talking about our plans, and Michael sits there and goes, just want to let you guys know that this is the goal, and write it down because this is the goal. 5 years from now, we will have $1 billion worth of revenue in the A&H line. And as soon as he walked out the door, I said, we're going to have to do something because at $20 a pop.
How are we ever going to get there?
This is going to be a long, we have to sell everybody in the country. Yeah. So that was his goal he gave us. Now, when everybody else was exiting the A&H market during that time frame, and everybody was panicked about the A&H market during that time frame, the Carfunkel family and the Carfunkel companies made the counterintuitive decision to get into the A&H market, right? So in 2014, we'll say 2014, he gave us a goal of $1 billion worth of revenue. Well, I'd like to report, and we started out with
300.
maybe $1 million, right? I'd like to tell you that right now, at the end of 2019, we did $923 million.
There you go.
$923 million in the A&H line. We started out at 0% of NatGen's business. We didn't represent anything on their bottom, on their top line in revenue. At the end of 2019, we represented 20% of their top line business. Now, that's a growth cycle. right? That's tremendous growth. But the reason we had such tremendous growth is because we brought in organizations like HST, right? We brought you guys in January of 2015. And so you were one of the driving forces, or the HST was one of the driving forces for that revenue growth. And you guys didn't sell any nat gen business, and now 50% or more of your business is nat gen. And I'll tell you right now, I'll be happy when it's 100. And I know it'll never be that way, but you know me, I'm gonna keep asking. That's the marketing in me. I will keep saying that I want 100% of this. But it's an interesting story that we started from zero. We started with nothing, basically or practically, and we are the place we are today. Okay?
Yeah.
And we have done so much and grown so much and expanded our portfolio so significantly. Now, I will tell you that I don't have the exact numbers, but of the A&H revenue, I think that HST, at least from our sales, is a significant piece of that. And so I don't remember what the percentage is. I wasn't able to get that today, but it's a pretty significant piece. So you are a significant player in our success and our growth. So I'll stop there.
Let me ask you. So the question is, you know, I tend to think that this business is all about marketing, like marketing. When you first get in here, you think it's a sales job or it's a service job. No, I really think it's about marketing, right? National General buys HST and they have a distribution to get it to the $920 something million, right? But what do agents like myself or little agencies that sell National General, how do they sell so much? How do we get to that level ourselves? You know, like how do we generate business ourselves?
Well, I will tell you, and there may be others that disagree, but for me, this has always been a numbers game. It's all, you say it's marketing. I say that it's marketing, but it's marketing in a direction that you may not think about. It's all about recruiting. Okay, that's the foundation. If I've stood up in front of my managers over the last 33 years and said anything, what they've heard me say the most is recruit. Don't stop recruiting. Keep your pipeline full. Be constantly bringing people into the program, because you're always going to have those that are very successful. You're always going to have those that just is not for them, and that's okay because it's not for everybody. But you have to keep that pipeline full. You have to be doing it over and over and over and over again. What I think a lot of managers do, they get the 5 or 6 people that they think are important, and then they stop. They stop that pipeline, and then 2 of them decide that they don't want to be in the business anymore, and they leave, and now they're down to 3, and it takes them 6 months to get somebody up to speed to fill in that gap. The other thing about recruit, and keeping them in the pipeline is now you're expanding this 5. Okay, you have 5, and if you're recruiting constantly, it's now 6, it's now 7, it's now 8. You lose 1, you're still 7. You know, and so you're constantly growing. But if you're not recruiting as an agency, you're not growing as an agency. You can't get the growth production out of a finite set of people, right? So if I only ever maintain 2 people in my hierarchy, I'm never going to grow past 2 people's production. And I think that's what you see from HST's success and other agencies' success. It's that they've gotten into the growth, expand. It's the multiples. The more you put on the bottom, pushes the more to the top, and it grows that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. You had this talent where you can connect with the agent, like you said, right? Like I'm not going to talk to the underwriters. I'm going to talk to the agents and learn what's going on in the field, right? What kind of talent do you think us as recruiters or managers need to have so that, you know, agents want to come to us and be part of our agency and become successful? What do I need to do? What do people on here need to do to grow a successful agency and, I guess, be in tune with the agents?
Well, first, be yourself. You know, don't try to be something you're not. Okay, and you know, for me, and I can tell you, for me, you know, everybody's got to drive their own bus, so to speak, on this based on their personality. But for me, it's be yourself. And if you make an agent a promise, you do it, whether it's painful or not, whether you really shouldn't have made that promise, within reason. I mean, there's times where you can't, but try to live up to your promises. Be yourself. tell them up front, be straight up with them. Don't try to hide the warts in the deal. That's where I think a lot of people make a mistake too. They don't prepare them for the warts in the program. You're not going to be successful every day. You're not going to make a sale every day. But a lot of the agents, a lot of the recruits come into the program, and they think that when they have their first bad day on the phone, they go, "Oh, this sucks. I'm done. I can't do this." Well, that's not true, because every salesperson has a bad day, or at least most. There's a couple of us that didn't, but that's beside
us.
a couple of us that didn't. But so it's those kind of things. But to get there, you got to talk to people. I mean, just be yourself and talk to people and explain and have the excitement and the thrill about this opportunity. Why did you get into it? Tell them why you got into it. I got into it for these reasons, and be excited about it. People thrive on that. They attach themselves to that excitement. If you call an agent up, you're recruiting, you go, "Hey, you want to come and join HST? We have a lead program, and we got trips." There's nothing there. Right. If you're not excited about it, why should I be excited about it? Hey, man, come and join us here, man. This is that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if I'm helping or what, but that's the kind of things I look at.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's what I do in new agent training. Like, one of my strategy is that they have to fall in love with me first. Like, they have to be able to relate to me first, right? And then I tell them the struggles of how the walls I hit during my journey, and at the end of it, what's become of this journey, and what I've learned from it, and what I thought I wanted. I really wanted this. It's like what's that book called? The hero's two journeys or something like that. I don't know what it is, but Charlie, National General has only been in this space for short time, like you said, 2012 or 2010 with the A&H stuff. How is it that they are now like the 900-pound gorilla in the short-term medical space?
Before you get into that real quick, Charlie, I do want to say that I'm so glad you just brought that up, Carlos, too, because I was thinking the exact same thing. In less than a decade, NatGen has been able to position themselves to be one of the power players now in the A&H side of the market, right? And I know that it's because of individuals like Charlie Harris and some of the other leadership guiding NatGen. And I also know, too, it's the visibility. NatGen has made themselves absolutely known. You can't turn a corner without running into NatGen somewhere. And I also know that NatGen has been great at hitting the ground running. They don't care if they fall. They don't care if they scrape their knees. They get back up and they keep going. They have adaptability in the marketplace, and they keep striving to go ahead and take things to another level, which is unseen. A lot of the rest of the carriers that they're paired up against don't necessarily have. They've been established. They don't have those same that same type of journey at this point, but because of leadership like Charlie at NatGen, there's that ability for them to go ahead and consistently stay ahead and evolve and look for new ways to be relevant in the industry. So
for us, I think it started at the very top. Barry and the management team and Michael, when he was with us, they didn't accept excuses or failure as an option. That wasn't something that was a part of their game plan. It was, we will accomplish this. And they made their decisions based on that concept. You will grow this business. You will make it work. We'll make decisions to help you do that. And then we just get out there and do it. And so it's the same as you build on your agency where you're at. As for us, it was getting out there and talking to people and meeting with people and recruiting people and encouraging people and promoting people and showing people what we have as an opportunity and being flexible in what we did and understanding the marketplace. And so all the things that you do on an agency level to recruit agents underneath you, that was just heightened at a higher level. And that's what we did for our growth, is to get out there and be everywhere. We went to ICMG meetings and the conferences and we all have our own little black books, and we were calling people and I there's times I joke, I said, one of the reasons we're big is people got tired of us calling them and asking them to join us. They said, fine, finally, yes, okay, we'll do it. just to get you to leave us alone for a while because we were relentless in that pursuit of people coming on board with us and doing our products.
I heard this saying yesterday: persistence always beats resistance, right? If you're
Absolutely.
persistent, you're gonna get it.
Absolutely.
100%.
Persistence always beats resistance. That's for sure.
For sure. Charlie, so we're in this under health insurance space, and the under 65 stuff is so dynamic. Things are changing. States make their own rules, things in that. One of the biggest fears that we have as insurance agents is that, some of these plans don't cover this. Some of these plans don't cover this. What kind of mistakes have you guys made in your short-term plans prior, and how have you corrected some of those things, or what have you done to correct some of those mistakes?
Well, as you develop short-term plans, you're always going to find holes in the plans, right? Because they are short-term and they're not built to be an all-exclusive or all-inclusive plan. Even the ACA plans, when you look at them, have holes. There are limits in some form or fashion. ACA plans, most of them are narrow networks now, or they have drug limitations or something of that nature. When we redesigned our new plan, we added doctor visits, which we didn't have before. We added RX to some of the plan designs, which we didn't have before. We re-looked at the way we were treating things like mammography, where we would pay for the test, but not the reading of the test.
That always killed me.
I'm not even sure how that even got into the policy form, because as soon as that was brought up, it was like, no. In fact, the first time somebody asked me that question, I went, no, that can't be right, but let me check. I checked, I called up the people who wrote the plan. I said, why did you do this? And they go, well,
no reason.
No reason. We just thought we'd do that. So we made those kind of adjustments. We've done a little bit better on the preventative. Like on our accident plan, it used to be excess coverage. So we'd only cover up to the deductible for the plan. So if you had a $5,000 accident medical plan and you got injured and your deductible out of pocket was $2,500, we pay the $2,500. Okay. Now we don't do that. We pay the full $5,000. We don't coordinate to an EOB any longer. We have to have proof it's an accident, but we do that. So we just try to adjust things as we go, and we're constantly looking at it. We will make more adjustments in the future based on the marketplace. We watch the market, we watch our competition, and we listen to the agents, and we don't always change everything the agents ask us to change. Well, we pay attention. I think you saw that on the last plan design. We paid attention to some of the things you were asking, one of them being the mammography.
Competition is healthy, in my opinion. It's
absolutely.
You have to. There's always going to be somebody out there doing it a different way, or doing it better, if you want to say, and that's okay. Like, we're going to learn from those folks, right?
Sure.
Who's the biggest competition right now? And
well, I hope Maxwell's not on this call, because it would be United Healthcare and Maxwell.
Yeah.
We consider them our top competition. But I agree with the competition is good. It's that concept of steel sharpens steel, right?
Yeah.
We make each other better. And Dave will tell you that too, that we'll come out with something and that'll challenge them to come out with something better. Than they come out with something better, that challenges us to be better. So we're constantly trying to improve our products and everything we do, so that we can stay just a step ahead or equal to United Healthcare. So I would consider them our top competition.
I would imagine that the feeling is mutual. If Maxwell was on here right now, he'd say the same thing, right? I mean, you guys did buy HSC, and they went off to buy out United Healthcare went off to buy out like US Health or something like that. They're just trying
to just go on record that I think we got the better deal.
Good. That's fantastic. So tell us about some of the, tell us with your heart, Charlie, like why we should be selling National General, and why it should be 100% of our sales and not 80% of our sales.
I have first understand that for me, National Health Insurance Company, I've got a long history with them. Okay. Even before National General. So National Health Insurance Company is my baby. Okay. So I want her to grow and be successful and be the queen of the prom. I want her to be, the homecoming queen, or whatever glory you want to give her. That's what I want her to be. So my first statement is, let's make National Health the best, because that's what I want you to do, is make her the best. But the other reasons are because we are a company that is flexible. We are a company that listens to the agents. We're agent oriented, and not saying that United Healthcare and those companies are. And I know that we'll always have a part of the business you guys do go to them, and that makes sense because there are markets or opportunities that they make more sense to do. And so, but if I was telling you that why I want it, it's because we're small, we're smaller, we're flexible, we're not as wrapped up in bureaucracy. We can make decisions quicker. We are flexible in some of the issues that come to us where they're not. And we try harder, and not to say they don't try hard, but I think we try harder because we know we're in competition with them, and they're a big company. They're several times our size, but I think that's the other thing, to look at is United Healthcare is several times our size, but we're not afraid to stand toe to toe with them and compete with them. And so there is I'll probably get disagreeing with some folks, but for us, there's a lack of fear in the competition. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't mind standing toe to toe with them and trying to compete where other companies might not. They might say, yeah, that's United Healthcare. We can't do what they do. We're the opposites. We go, we can do what they do, but not only can we do what they do, but we can do it better. So let's figure out how to do it better. So that's kind of it.
What do you think? Is the accident policy, the accident policy that you started with, is that still the core product of National General, or is it the short-term products or the indemnity products?
Short-term's the core. Short-term's still the core. Short-term's our core, and then the add-ons make it better. From an agent perspective, I think the agents need to understand that if you're selling the short-term and you're not selling the AME and those things, that you're really leaving money on the table. Because the short-term is exactly that. It's short-term. It's got a shorter duration. But the accident, the critical illness, and the Triomed and all those products are long-term products. They're not, you don't cancel them until they turn 65 or quit paying premiums. So my short-term may last for 6 months or 12 months. My AME or my critical illness may last for 6 years. When we bought National Health Insurance Company, I told you that there was a little bit of premium in it, $300,000 for the premium. That represented 490 cancer policies in 2012, 490 cancer policies. The last policy in that block was sold in 2003. So the youngest policy was 9 years old, but the majority of them were written in 1993, 94, 95.
Oh my
so
God.
That business stayed on the books for 20 years.
Oh,
now,
wow.
So, and you have your heap commissions on these products, but can you imagine building a block of business where you're getting a revenue stream for 10 years?
Yeah, I can.
Yep. See,
I
exactly.
can.
You understand. And that's why the other thing is that's why we went to the Medicare Sup market is we wanted long-term products on our portfolio as well. Medicare Sup is a long-term, again, I use these phrases, short-term's a cash flow business, ancillaries and Medicare Sup is a asset business.
That's exactly why I'm doing this, man. That's what I love to do now. I'm a lazy guy. I just want to get paid while I'm waking up, and I don't want to do any more work. I'm just lazy. Going back to short-term and accident policies, they do not coordinate, do they? Like if something happens, we have to file the claim.
Yes. So today, if you have an accident and you file your short-term medical claims, the client has to file the accident claim with a separate TPA. Okay. It's clunky. We know it's clunky.
Why does that have to go to a separate TPA? Why can't National General just do it all for us?
Well, we'd like to, but we don't have the infrastructure to pay claims, and that would drive up costs for us to do claims when you can go to somebody else who's already got it built.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that on the roadmap here, sometime this year or first of next year, we are working on pipes where if there's a short-term claim that comes in and it triggers the accident code, they will notify the accident TPA to pay the claim. The consumer shouldn't have to be in the middle of that, and that's being worked on because that's a sore spot for us as well.
Tell us about. Oftentimes, we're looking for short-term products that have preventative services. Does the National General product line have preventative services?
It pays for some preventative labs.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, I think, one plan design that has some preventative coverage in it. I will tell you that I can get you more details on that and get it to you. There's so many plan designs. I don't want to overspeak because there's so many state variations.
Yeah.
But I can get that information to you. But
Why
we do pay some preventative labs, and we do have some preventative coverage in the plans.
Why are there so many variations? It's just the states, right? The states making their own rules, what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, well, you got the plan design, so you got the enhanced, the different plan designs, which have different benefits within the plan designs. But then the state variations, and yes, every state makes its own rules. You would be well, I don't think you'd be shocked and amazed, but there are very few what we would call generic states. Every time you get a state on the short term, you've got to change something within the plan and administer to something different in the plan. One state requires you to cover this. One state won't let you do this. This state requires this. This state has this mandate. So they're all different. And that's one of the reasons it gets very difficult to answer questions on the fly when you ask specific questions Hey, hang on, I need to make sure, or we need, whoever's on the phone talking to you needs to have something up to look at it. And that's one of the reasons on exclusions we put on the website. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you go out to the NatGen website now, National Health NatGen website, there's a page and it's got a button that you can click, and it has all the state exclusions, the different states exclusions. If you look at that,
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah. So go out and poke around in the new NatGen website. Okay. I think you guys, we redid it at the end of last year. It's amazing. It's got a lot of tools for the agents, but it's got forms, claims forms, and different kinds of forms. It's got the exclusions. It's got disclaimers. It's got all the different things that help you understand where we're at. So I think that would be enlightening from a state variation standpoint.
This may be getting into the details as well, but the short term has an essentials and an enhanced option. Can you tell us what maybe the core differences are between the essentials and the enhanced?
Its benefits. Give me a second, and I can.
Is the essentials more like an indemnity product, or?
Yeah,
I only sell enhanced, but I see the other one on there, and I'm not too familiar with it.
It's just the level of benefits in the benefit description is basically all it is.
I see.
And you can see that out on that NatGen website, and I'll pull it up here. Is the brochure?
Yeah.
All the brochures are out there as well, and
it would just be the level of benefits then. It's not like
it's
on this plan we exclude this, or on this one we don't exclude this. It's nothing like that, right?
Yeah, that's basically all it is what are we going to pay for within the plan?
I see.
Here we go. So, for example, the essentials has got $5,000, $10,000, and $25,000 deductibles, and $250,000 maximum per coverage period. The enhanced has got $1 million, and it's got deductibles from $2,500 all the way up to $25,000. The coinsurance differentials and essentials is 40% coinsurance. Enhanced is 50 or 20. You got the different options there. The enhanced, let's see, the copay enhanced has copays in it. So it's just the benefit structures.
Level of benefits, I would imagine.
Benefits within the plans, yeah.
Okay, I need to look more into the essentials because I've only been selling the enhanced. But has NHIC, National General, ever thought about getting into the ACA market?
Yes, but I was sitting with Dan at the bar, so.
Yeah.
The truth is we have looked at it, and depending on how things go, there's always an opportunity there. We just have to make sure it's something we can do. You have to have a lot of mass to do that, because you have minimum loss ratios, and you have premium rebates, and you have all those things. And so to be successful, you have to make sure that you've got the right contracts in place for networks and the right pricing. in the right critical mass. And so, yes, we've looked at it a couple of times. We've made the decision not to yet. That doesn't mean sometime in the future we won't. But right now, it's not. It's not.
Part of the plan is part of the plan for sure is to continue to conquer on the Medicare space, right? And
the senior space, yeah.
That and dental is huge, yes. And I know that's something that the sales force has been waiting for.
Right. So let me give you a couple. If I could take a couple minutes and talk about a couple of product things.
Please do.
That I wanted to share with you. So we'll start with the short-term medical. We have, and I'm not sure everybody's aware, but we have opportunity with two different networks in our short-term medical. We have the Aetna network, and we also have the Cigna network. And when you go open a coverage builder, there's a drop-down box that you can select the network, Aetna or Cigna. And when you do that, it'll pull up the rates for that. Now, I will tell you that in a lot of markets, Cigna is going to be higher than Aetna, okay? But there are markets where Cigna's cheaper, and that would be an opportunity for if you've got a client that's balking a little bit on price, you can go check the Cigna network out. So like in Alabama, Kentucky, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Montana, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Wisconsin, and West Virginia, those are markets that the rates could be cheaper for Cigna. Okay, and they're somewhere between 6 and 10% cheaper than Aetna in those marketplaces. Not every zip code in those markets, but a lot of them. A lot of the pushback I get is, well, the Cigna network's not as broad, and we've done analysis, and they are pretty much the same network overall. So you get the same broad network, and it's just an opportunity. Another thing that National General said, hey, let's give our customers a choice. Let's give them an opportunity to make a different choice if they want to. And we're starting to see some traction, but we'd love to see some more traction in that marketplace. And I would be interested in hearing from the agents in the field how that works out. What are you seeing when you propose things? So I'm looking for some feedback as well. The limited med, we have 27 states out. We've got approved. We have Tennessee and Texas coming up in, Tennessee and Montana coming up in June. In fact, on releases, we've got Tennessee and Montana on the limited med. We've got the Arizona Local Act Plus network in Phoenix and Tucson, which is a Cigna very narrow network. And the rates are going to be significantly cheaper in that network deal. We have Virginia STM coming out in June, Wyoming XTM coming out in June, and then we just have some transitions to the NHIC products from TIC coming out in June. So we're moving along there. The other thing that's exciting to tell you guys about is our dental. We're filing a new dental plan, and I can't share the details with you today, but very shortly I will be able to share the details with you. But we're releasing our first 2 states in July.
Wow.
Georgia and Illinois in July. And if we get a couple more approvals, they'll go in July as well. So we're really expanding our dental marketplace, and I think we've come up with a competitive price. The other great thing about it is we will have a vision product, and we will have a hearing product that goes along with that dental. So we're really pushing on that, and we're excited about that opportunity.
Question before you move on. The dental product, what is the network? The network is always
the Aetna network, the Aetna Dental Network.
Aetna Dental Network. Okay. And the vision, can that be sold standalone, or does it have to come together with
It's got to come. Right now, our division is a dental vision plan.
I see.
It's got to be dental. Yeah.
It's an add-on, right? It's just going to be a quick add-on. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's hearing benefits with the
We will have hearing benefits. It may not roll in all states at the same time. I think it will in Georgia. There's a hearing in Georgia, but I think in Illinois we're still waiting for the hearing rider to be approved.
Okay. I heard today that the Medicare supplements are a little bit more competitive nowadays because everybody else is going up where National General kind of stayed stable, and that was to tell you our game plan at the very beginning. Our game plan was to come out with rates that may be a little higher than our competition at the time, but to keep them stable, so we're not doing these big rate increases. And so far, we're able to do that. Where
I saw the list. Some companies are doing 15, 10, 12% rate increases. We're doing 6, 7 in states. So that was our plan all along. There is what I call the rule of elasticity, which is if you take a rubber band and stretch it far enough, it'll break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With the rate increases, it's the same thing. I can give a 6% rate increase and my lapses don't really change. People kind of expect that. If I go to 15%, my lapse rates are going to go like that because I broke them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, we're becoming competitive in the marketplace now. It'll be cyclic because at some point we'll have to put in. Next year we'll put our 6% in, and that'll be equivalent to 12 in the cycle, and so they may move ahead. But I think the way we do things, I think we are trying to maintain a more stable rate with less rate increases, and that was always our plan when we went into the marketplace. Now I will tell you, these sales guys beat the crap out of me over the rates for a while, and not all, but some.
Guilty. No, I'm guilty.
But we stayed the course, and I knew there was a plan, and I was like this: please work, please work, please work. And it did.
How's it going for us on that? How's it going for you guys on the Medicare supplement market then? Is it grown a lot since the beginning?
It's starting. Yeah, it's not growing the way we want it to, but it's starting to go like this. We're starting to see the growth cycle that we wanted all along. It got off to a slow start, and we've had some issues with our TPA, which, by the way, by September everything will be on Coverage Builder. You'll be able to roll all of our Medicare Sup products on Coverage Builder, and we'll be doing all of our billing and collection ourselves, and we'll have a different claims TPA. It's really not the claims, though. It was the enrollment. But with that, you'll be able to sell our senior, because we're coming out with a senior dental in August. We're coming out with a senior limited med in the first quarter of next year. So having our Medicare Sup on our Coverage Builder, you can sell these supplementals along with that and have one bill, a bundle bill, and have a package program.
Speaking of bundle bills, I'm gonna put one on you here. One of the biggest gripes we have.
Sorry, I got a bad connection.
Yeah, right. One of the biggest gripes that we have is when we sell the short-term products, we have to add on the $20 association fee gets added on automatically, right? Mm-hmm. The policy cancels after the term, but that $20 fee stays on there. Then we get a phone call 6 months later, like, hey, what the heck is this $20 fee? Like, oh shit, we didn't terminate that policy. That was part of the association. My bad. And I've had to reimburse people, just frankly speaking.
So here is, let me tell you the reason why it's not canceled the same the short term is. Okay. The association fee is not the membership in the association is not a limited duration membership. Okay. Right. And so there's no term in it that cancels the short term automatically the way there's no term that cancels the association within the language. And so you get calls complaining that they didn't cancel it. We get calls complaining they canceled this, and I was the telemed benefit. Why did you cancel this?
I see.
Okay. So when you're talking to your customer, they just need to understand that.
Yeah.
And because it is two separate things. The other thing is associations, you have to be real careful from a compliance standpoint, canceling things that you're not asked to specifically cancel. Okay. And so I get the heartache when you with your customer, but and it would be easy for us to just automatically do it. But there are some issues with doing it automatically. The other thing is if they have other plans within it, they still have to have the association to keep the accident. They have to have the association to keep the critical illness, all those things. So there's a lot of reasons we don't. So that's my explanation. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but this is a well-argued discussion that occurs once every 6 months within the organization.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that personally, from a compliance and I get the consumer experience on one end, but from a compliance standpoint, I've always been adamant that you can't just automatically cancel the association membership when you cancel the health unless you're asked to.
Let me get into some of these questions we got here. Daniel Ray says, Suggest developing a cancellation template that covers all bases.
That Daniel Ray from our SD channel, he's not allowed to ask questions on this.
Is that what it is? What does he mean by a cancellation template? I don't understand.
What he says makes sense, and I'll look into that. Basically, when I send a cancellation letter on the short term, I tell them, here, opt in or out on canceling the association membership. So I get that, and I'll look into that. Yeah.
And then Joe Davern says, Charlie, no need to automatically cancel the association fee. An email should go out when a client's policy ends, letting them know about that policy. Let's be honest, 99% of the people do not want to keep the association plan. So he's suggesting throw out an email here, like this one's going to cancel, but your association fee is going to continue.
And I'll have to look at the correspondence because we had talked about doing that. So I'm not sure that we're not already doing that. So let me verify that for you.
Okay.
And I'll find out. I'll let y'all know whether or not we do that. But that makes sense.
And then Drew McCormick says, what about an opt-out email getting sent to the client upon cancellation of?
Yeah, that's the same thing that Daniel and Joe.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody else have more questions? What's it like to be the president?
Well,
this is what I think. Let me tell you what I think. I think you work so hard. Now you're the president of NHIC, and you get to put your feet up every day and kind of relax and not do a thing. Is that how it is?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, I thought so. I want to get there.
Being the president of an insurance company, and $5 will get me a small cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, at least you get something.
That title means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to be sitting above you, beating you on the head for something not working right.
Always, right?
Always.
From the top and from the bottom. You got to answer.
And from the bottom, it comes both ways.
Oh man, that sucks, man. Shit always rolls downhill, but how does it go uphill? That sucks too.
Well, that's because I listen to agents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not sitting up there on the hill.
Yeah, I'm not sitting up there on the hill.
You're hanging down with the agents.
Hanging out with us.
Hanging out with y'all. And I'd rather be there than anywhere else. Trust me. Dan will tell you. Dan will tell you.
Stuff happens. That's where all the fun stuff happens.
That's where all the fun stuff happens. Yeah.
Well,
So anything else? Hey, I do have one more thing for you guys. I don't know if you know, but they're starting to open up testing centers for agent licensing testing, okay, in states. So in Tennessee, you've got a pencil handy, Tennessee, Nebraska, Georgia, Florida, and Texas, they've started opening up testing centers and fingerprint centers. So you're able to start getting your guys, if you've been recruiting in those areas, you're able to start getting them appointments. Still going to be a little slow getting appointments, but they are opening those centers. And as I hear about more opening up, I've been sending out communications to sales leaders that they're opening up. So just be aware that.
Will NatGen allow appointments for temporary licenses though while this is going on, or no?
No.
Even if it goes up in the NIPR, no, it's still got to be okay.
We would have to change a number of things to get to where we took temp licenses.
Makes sense.
Temp licenses in a lot of states are only good in that state, not good for non-resident licenses. And we figure by the time we got the work done and got it set up, the centers will be open and you'll be able to start testing. So, and we're really just not in that space. I talked to some of our competitors and they don't do it either.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not something we want to play in the market with. It's just too much to get done. And we made the decision with the hope that the testing centers would open up in May, and they are. So
good.
Charlie, Joe Davern has one last question for us. The website. What's the website where he can see the state specifics?
What's the website?
It's NGAH. My NG.
Is hang on, I'll give it to you.
I have it saved on my computer. I just don't want to move it because I'm recording.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. natgenhealth.com.
Yep.
So, guys, I can tell you that I've got this bad. I'm like a bad judge of character, and I think Charlie Harris is an excellent man. So, I'm probably totally wrong, but I don't know. Charlie, one last question for you. You probably If you had a yacht, what would you call it? Or if you had a boat, what would you call it? You probably have a boat already, and you have a name for it.
No. Let me tell you real quick that you need to come up with another theoretical question because
you got a boat.
I will never own a boat.
Oh, why not?
I'm a firm believer in the 3F rule of accounting.
3F. Explain that to me.
If it flies, if it floats, or you have to feed it, lease it, don't buy it.
Ah, yes. Somebody once told me, control everything, own nothing.
That's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right. I have worked for individuals who've had big boats, and I have watched more money walk out the door
Yeah.
than even makes sense. And it's like, yeah, I could have rented a boat once a month for 5 years for what you spent to repair that boat.
True.
So,
True. You're ruining my dreams. I always wanted to own a boat since I was a little kid. It was like
well, I don't want to ruin your dreams. See, you got to remember, I'm a CPA by training, so every once in a while that accountant guy comes out in my head
I hate accountants.
and overrides everything. So,
well, Charlie, we totally appreciate your time. We'd hope you come back, maybe a couple months from now to do another one of these.
I'd love to. Just anytime, Carlos. Just let
Hey,
me know.
Charlie, real quick too, if anybody is here or watches this and is interested in doing business with NatGen, how do they find out more information? Just go to that
Well,
website.
the quick way is to find an HST manager and talk to them because they can get set up. That would be my first recommendation. Either that, or you can contact our agency services department, and their phone number is on the website, and let them know you're interested. I picked on Daniel a minute ago, but Daniel Ray's on the phone, and he's over our RSD channel, and they've got an awesome team of people as well. So he'd be another contact if you're not in the market for the HST kind of experience. Then the other excellent experience you can have with NatGen is through the RSD channel and Daniel and his team. So there's a couple of contact points there that you can go to. Each channel has its nuances. Each channel has a certain group of agents that fit better within that channel. So you need to explore the options and move that way. But those are the two channels I would recommend going to, either the HST channel through HST managers, or through Daniel Ray and his channel, and that phone number you can call through agency services on our website.
And either way, they need to sell NatGen, right?
Yeah, there's a rule that's coming out very, very soon. I think it's a law that they're passing that NatGen will be the only carrier that will be allowed to be sold in this marketplace. And
the appointment comes with your license. The minute you get a license,
that's right. Automatic appointment. You can't ququalify for a license till you do the check box on National General. I like that. I'm gonna have to call the governor.
There you go.
Well, all right, guys. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a great evening.
Charlie, you too. Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.